Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Om Agana Tinamanda Shagananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unminitam Yena Tesmai Sri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnu Vidaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Sunyavari Paschata Desha Tarine Namo Vishnu Vidaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Vir Krishna Das Goswami Nitinamine Namo Hamsana Kashaya Prabhupada Prayate Sudrida Sudinastyam Yam Tasha Vakinvarine. Morning. Hare Krishna, Gauranga, Nityananda. So today we're starting chapter 18, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's visit to Sri Vrindavan Dham. And after a long time in and around Jagannath, Navadvip, Jagannath Puri, everyone was trying to keep Lord Chaitanya from leaving, you know. Everybody was already feeling the separation. Floor. So, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finally has ventured to Sri Vrindavan Dham, and I'll read the summary and start the chapter. And it's very near and dear to my heart right now, because although I'm sitting here right now, my mind and my heart is in Govardhan as I'm watching Parikram every night. And all the things that are being discussed here are going on in real time. The following summary of the 18th chapter is given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrita Prabha Bhashya. In the village of Aritgram, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discovered the transcendental lakes known as Radha Kund and Shama Kund. He then saw the deity Haridev at Govardhan village. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had no desire to climb Govardhan hill because the hill is worshipped as Krishna. The Gopal deity could understand the mind of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, on the plea of being attacked by Muslims, Gopal transferred himself to the village of Gantuli Gram. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then went to Gantuli Gram to see Lord Gopal. Some years later, Lord Gopal also went to Mathura, to the house of Vittalaleshvara, and stayed there for 1 month just to give an audience to Srila Rupa Goswami. After visiting Nandishvara, Pavana Sarovara, Sheshashayi, Keli Tirtha, Bandiravana, Badravana, Lohavana, and Mahavan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Gokul and then finally returned to Mathura. Seeing a great crowd in Mathura, he moved his residence near Akrura Ghat, and from there he went every day to Vrindavan to see Kaliyahrada, Dwarasa Ditya Ghat, Keshi Ghat, Rasastali, Chiragat, and Amlital. At Kalia Lake, many people mistook a fisherman for Krishna. When some respectable people came to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they expressed their opinion that when one takes sannyas, he becomes Narayan. Their mistake was corrected by the Lord. In this way, their Krishna consciousness was awakened, and they could understand that a sannyasi is simply a living entity and not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took his bath at Akrura Ghat, he submerged himself in the water for a long time. Balabhadra Bhattacharya decided to take Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Prayag after visiting the holy place known as Sorokshetra. While stopping near a village on the way to Prayag, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fainted in ecstatic love. Some Patana soldiers who were passing through saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and falsely concluded that the Lord's associates, Balabhadra Bhattacharya and others, had killed the Lord with a poison named Dutura and were taking his wealth. Thus the soldiers arrested them. However, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu regained his senses, his associates were released. He talked with a person who is supposed to be a holy man in the party. From the Quran, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established devotional service to Krishna. Thus, the leader of the soldiers, named Vijuli Khan, surrendered to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he and his party became devotees of Lord Krishna. The same village today is known as the village of Patana Vaishnavas. After bathing in the Ganges at Soro, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived at Prayag at the confluence of three rivers, the Ganges, Jamuna, and Saraswati. Text 1. Vrindavane stira charan nandanya svavalokana atmanam chatara lokad gauranga parito brahmat. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu traveled all over Vrindavan and pleased all living entities, moving and non-moving, with his glances. The Lord took much personal pleasure in seeing everyone. In this way, Lord Gauranga traveled in Vrindavan. Jaya Jaya Gaura Chandra Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Lord Gaura Chandra. All glories to Nityananda Prabhu. All glories to Advaita Prabhu. And all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya, headed by Srivas Thakur. E Mata Mahaprabhu Nachite Nachite Arit Grame Asi Bhaya Haila Chambite. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced in ecstasy, but when he arrived at Aritgram, his sense perception was awakened. Purport. Aritgram is also called Aristogram. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understood that in that village, Aristasura had been killed by Sri Krishna. While there, he inquired about Radha Kund, but no one could tell him where it was. The Brahmana accompanied him could also not ascertain its whereabouts. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could then understand that the holy places known as Radha Kunda and Shamakunda were at that time lost to everyone's vision. He therefore discovered Radhakund and Shamakund, which were two reservoirs of water in two paddy fields. Although there was very little water, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was omniscient and could understand that formerly these two ponds were called Sri Radhakund and Shamakund. In this way, Radhakund and Shamakund were discovered. So we were just watching the parikram, and they were just barely at Shamakund and Radhakund today, or actually yesterday, our time. And as we who have been there know, it's not two ponds in the paddy field now. It's quite built up, and it's surrounded by a lot of concrete and even some cell phone towers, you know. So it's quite built up. But he could understand that those two ponds that he came across were indeed the Radhakund and Shamakund. Arite Radha Kunda Varta Puchi Lokastane Keha Nahi Kahe Sangera Brahmanajane. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked the local people, "Where is Radhakund?" No one could inform him, and the Brahmana accompanying him did not know either. Tirtha Lupta Jani Prabhu Sarvagna Bhagavan Duitanya Kshetre Alpa Jale Kaila Snana. The Lord then understood that the holy place called Radhakund was no longer visible. However, being the omniscient Supreme Personality of Godhead, he discovered Radhakund and Shamakund in 2 paddy fields. There was only a little water, but he took his bath there. Deki sabagramya lokera vishvamya hailamana preme prabhukare radha kundera stavana. When the people of the village saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taking his bath in those 2 ponds in the middle of the paddy fields, they were very much astonished. The Lord then offered his prayers to Sri Radhakund. Sabagopi hoite Radha Krishnera preyasi Daiche Radhakunda priya priyara sarasi. Of all the gopis, Radharani is the dearmost. Similarly, the lake known as Radhakund is very dear to the Lord because it is very dear to Srimati Radharani. Yata Radha Priya Vishnostasha Kundam Priyam Tata Sarva Gopishu Saivaika Vishnuranyantya Valabha. Just as Srimati Radharani is most dear to Lord Krishna, so is her lake, known as Radhakund. It is also very dear to him. Of all the gopis, Srimati Radharani is certainly the most beloved. This is a verse from the Padma Purana. Ye kunde nitya Krishna radhikara sange jale jala keli kare tire rasarange. In that lake, Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani used to sport daily in the water and have a rasa dance on the bank. I think anybody that has been to Radhakund knows that you can feel that there, right? You can feel it there. Sekunde ye ake barakare snana tanre radha sama prema Krishna kare dana. Indeed, Lord Krishna gives ecstatic love like that of Srimati Radharani to whoever bathes in that lake even once in his life. Kundera madhuri yena radhara madhurima kundera mahima yena radhara mahima. The attraction of Radhakund is as sweet as that of Srimati Radharani. Similarly, the glories of the Kund lake are as great as Srimati Radharani's. Shri Radeva Harestadiya Sarasi Prestar Bhutae Svargunaryasham Shri Yuta Madhavendura Nisham Pritya Taya Kritati Premasmin Bhataradike Valabate Yasham Sakrit Snanakrit Tashavai Maimatata Madhurima Kenastu Varnya Kushito. Because of its wonderful transcendental qualities, Radhakund is as dear to Krishna as Srimati Radharani. It was in that lake that the all-opulent Lord Sri Krishna performed his pastimes with Srimati Radharani with great pleasure and transcendental bliss. Whoever bathes just once in Radhakund attains Srimati Radharani's loving attraction for Sri Krishna. Who within this world can describe the glories and sweetness of Sri Radhakund? This verse is found in the Govinda Lilamrita, chapter 7, text 102. E mata stuti kare prema vishta hanya tire nritya kare kunda lila sanarya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thus offered prayers to Radhakund. Overwhelmed by ecstatic love, he danced on the bank, remembering the pastimes Lord Krishna performed on the bank of Radhakund. So, I don't want to divert too long, but let's just speak a little bit about the glories of Radhakund and the bliss derived there when you are sitting there on the bank of the Radhakund. And it's earlier in the morning before many of the, I'll say, the working Babajis come there to, try their best to do the things they need to do to survive. And everybody's just very peacefully taking their ablutions in the lake and chanting their mantras, chanting their prayers. Many people are have a little bit of flowers or something they're putting in, maybe a candle, and things are just getting going for the day at around dawn or thereafter. And it's just the most transcendent and blissful and peaceful and just absolutely wonderful place to be. It's actually feels like, particularly the one and only time that I actually went into Radhakund, which I found out later wasn't a good idea, but it seemed like a good idea at the time. And it was funny because before I kind of knew that the feet shouldn't touch Radhakund, I had went down and, it's kind of slippery on the stairs there. There's a lot of algae and it's a little bit slick. And I started to go down to get water, and the devotees I was with at the time were already bathing in that lake. I was with Mother Krishna Priya and Champakalata and Mother Uttara at that time. This was a long time ago. And so I was trying to reach down, and because of those slippery steps, somehow or other I ended up slipping and going right in, just like a water slide. It was just right in. And before I knew it, I was completely submerged. And luckily, the chain was nearby, the chain on the steps. And so I found it. But I just remember when I went under, and you could see up into the sun through the water, that it actually looked and felt and seemed like it was the center of the universe. You could just see everything. You could see everything. You could feel everything. I could understand everything, and it was only real quick. So the really eager. So very beautiful place to visit. Very, very beautiful place to chant and hear and absorb. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, knowing he was there, and so many great personalities. We visit the bathing place of Janava Mata. Did you go there, Prabhu? Did you go to Radhakund? Okay. And Janava Mata's sitting place, bathing place, and Raghunath Das Goswami's Bhajan Kutir, and just all the wonderful areas around Radhakund, all of the little nooks and crannies with different deities and places where the Goswamis sat and did their bhajan and wrote. And it's just so rich. It's just so rich with so much spiritual energy as you sit around, walk around there. One time when I went there, we went into, actually I was with BKG at the time, my spiritual master, and we went into the house of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. That was where Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had spoke to Prabhupada and told him to print books It wasn't open the last time I was there. This was maybe in 2020. And we were there for a while, and that was the first time I'd ever seen it. And there was so many like artifacts there, with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, like the first toilet, for instance, in Radhakund and things like that. Just his house was still set up, and it was interesting because it felt like somebody they were still living there because it looked the same. It looked kind of like modern, but not. And it was completely impeccably cleaned and put together. Just seemed like somebody was living there at the moment. And, it was just fascinating. And I was walking through there. And meanwhile, the group I was with, including my guru, had left because, he kind of just weaves in and out and goes through things quick. But I was just awestruck at all the things in the house. It was just like you could have spent several hours there looking around. There was pictures and artifacts. And when I came out, of the house, and I looked around, I didn't recognize anybody. Everybody had left. Everybody had went on. And I was like, and I didn't know my way around Radhakund very well. I still don't, but I know it a little bit better after that and the last time. And came out, looked around, and I was sort of in a little bit of for a split second, I was panicked because I didn't know anybody, and everybody was looking at me, and I'm like the only Westerner. And but actually, all of a sudden, I just had this great peace, and I was thinking, oh wow, now I can just spend time here. I can just go and I can chant and I can be here and I can hang around all day and I can look at things. And usually it's just a rush. It's just a weaving into so many, because Radhakund, going around to all the samadhis and the bhajan kutirs and seeing the deities and the kunds, it takes a while, It could take all day for sure. But, somehow it gets crammed into couple hours when we're going on Parakam, very fast. So I was just thinking, oh, I can hang out in Radhakund now, It just sounded so attractive. And so I started wandering around, and literally as soon as that thought came in, and I took a turn, probably the wrong turn, I don't know where I was going, I was just going to wander, I got the phone call from my guru, and he was like, where are you? And and jerked that choke chain back, and I was like, oh. And, he somehow gave me some instructions as to where to go, catch up with the group. But I remember him saying, you shouldn't hang around here by yourself. It's very dangerous, So maybe, but there is an all-pervading peacefulness there that is truly undeniable. So definitely, we're always looking forward to our next pilgrimage to Radhakund, because it's just the most important one, Govardhan and Radhakund is just the most important one. And Lord Chaitanya dancing, overwhelmed by ecstatic love, dancing on the bank, remembering the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Like the veil is really thin there. It's very easy to remember those things there somehow. It's very, very easy to absorb and really get into it. Anyway, sorry, just wanted to share some Radhakund pastimes. So beautiful. Okay, text 14. Kundera mritika lana tilaka karila bhattacharya dvara mritika sange karilaila. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then marked his body with tilak made from the mud of Radhakund, and with the help of Balabhadra Bhattacharya, he collected some of the mud and took it with him. Tave chali aila Prabhu sumana sarovara Tahan Govardhana Deki Haila Vivala. From Radhakund, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Sumanas Lake. When he saw Govardhan Hill from there, he was overwhelmed with joy. Govardhana Deki Prabhu Haila Dandavat Eka Shila Lingya Haila Unmata. When the Lord saw Govardhan Hill, he immediately offered obeisances, falling down on the ground like a rod. he embraced one piece of rock from Govardhan Hill and became mad. Preme mata chali aila Govardhana grama Harideva dekitahan haila pranama. Mad with ecstatic love, the Lord came to the village known as Govardhan. There he saw the deity named Haridev and offered his obeisances unto him. I just saw that temple a couple days ago. They were going through there. It looks like it's under some kind of renovation, actually. Mathura Padmera Paschima Dale Yanra Vasha Harideva Nayarayana Diparakasha. Haridev is an incarnation of Narayan, and his residence is on the western petal of the lotus of Mathura. Harideva ge nache preme matahanya sabaloka deki aila dekite aila ascharya suniya. Mad with ecstatic love, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to dance before the Haridev deity. Hearing of the Lord's wonderful activities, all the people came to see him. Prabhu prema saundarya deki loke chadmatkara Haridevera pritya prabhura karila satkara. The people were astonished when they saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love and personal beauty. The priests who served the Haridev deity offered the Lord a good reception. Bhattacharya Brahmakunde Pakayanya Kaila Brahmakunde Snanakari Prabhu Viksha Kaila. At Brahmakund, the Bhattacharya cooked food, and the Lord, after taking his bath at Brahmakund, accepted his lunch. Wow. Brahmakund is such a beautiful place. Se ratri rahila Haridevera mandire ratre Mahaprabhu kare manita vichare. That night, the Lord stayed at the temple of Haridev, and during the night, he began to reflect. Govardhana upare ami kabuna chadiba Gopala rayera darasana kemane paiva. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought, since I shall not at any time climb Govardhan Hill, how shall I be able to see Gopala Rai? Eta mane kari Prabhu mauna kari rahila chaniya Gopala kichu bangi utaila. Thinking in this way, the Lord remained silent, and Lord Gopala, knowing his contemplation, played a trick. Anaruruk shave sailam svamai bhakta bhimanine avaruya gire krishno gauraya svadarshayat. Coming down from Govardhan Hill, Lord Gopala granted an interview to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was unwilling to climb the hill, thinking himself a devotee of Lord Krishna. Anakuta name grame gopelera stiti rajaputa lokera se grame vashati. Gopala stayed in a village called Anukutagram on Govardhan Hill. The villagers who lived in that village were mainly from Rajasthan. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The village named Anukutgram is referred to in the Bhakti Ratnakara, 5th wave. Gopa gopi bunjayena kautuka apara ehetu aniora namase ihara. Anakutastana deka srinivasa estana darshane haya purna vilasa. Here all the gopis and the gopas enjoyed wonderful pastimes with Sri Krishna. Therefore, this place is also called Anior. The Anakut ceremony was celebrated here. O Srinivas, whoever sees this place has all his desires fulfilled. It is also stated, Kundera nikata deka nivida kanana ete gopala chila hainya gasan gopana. Look at the dense forest near the Kund. It was there that Gopala was concealed. Also, the Stavavali, Raja Vilas Stava 75 by Raghunath Das Goswami states, Rajendra Varyarpita Bhogamuchair Dridva Brihad Kayamakarirudka Varena Radam Chalayan Vibhukte Yatra Nakutam Taraham Prapadye. When Nanda Maharaj offered a large quantity of food to Govardhan Hill, Krishna assumed a gigantic form and eagerly invited everyone to ask boons from him. Then, deceiving even Srimati Radharani, he ate all the offered food. Let me take shelter of the place known as Anakut, where Lord Krishna enjoyed these pastimes. So many of us know these places, Anakut Gram, Anior, where it's said that Anior is named that because in Anakut, Govardhan kept saying, bring me more, which that's Anior, Anior. So that means bring more, bring more. So that's where even today, when you pass by Anior, there's constantly worship going on in that little temple with and the Anakut little tableau and everything they have there. There's constantly activity going on. It feels like they're constantly getting ready to feed someone, because there's also, anytime you walk through there, there's some offerings around. There's some offerings to the huge Govardhan Shila and like that there, their own little Gopal deity. So we know all these places, and it's very comforting to know that these are all the places that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited, so sanctified and purified, and you can really feel it when you're walking through around Govardhan Parakram, you're walking through Anior and all these different places. And it's interesting too, because somehow in Anior, I always try to bring candy, especially chocolates for the children when you go out on Parakram, because, you know, the kids know no English, but they do know chocolate. They know no other English. And somehow by the time we get to Anior, I still have a good amount of things, but there's always the most children there, and they're always the hungriest, and they're always the most like wanting more. Anior. So beautiful. Eka jana shiratre gramike balila tomara gramara marite turuka dara sajila. One person who came to the village informed the inhabitants, the Turkish soldiers are now preparing to attack your village. Ajiratriye palaha narahiha eka jana takura lanya baga sibe kali yavana. Flee this village tonight and do not allow one person to remain. Take the deity with you and leave, for the Muslim soldiers will come tomorrow. Seems like all through the ages there's always been this persecution and relentless torture by the Muslim soldiers. Very unfortunate. Suniya gramera loka chintita haila pratame gopala lanya gantuli grame kuila. Hearing this, all the villagers became very anxious. They first took Gopal and moved him to a village known as Gantuli. Vipragrihe gopalera nibrite sevana grama ujada haila pailaila sarvajana. The Gopala deity was kept in the house of a Brahmana, and his worship was conducted secretly. Everyone fled, and thus the village of Anakut was deserted. Aiche mlecha baye Gopala bage bare bare mandira chari kunje rahe kiva gramantare. Due to fear of the Muslims, the Gopal deity was moved from one place to another again and again. Thus, giving up his temple, Lord Gopal would sometimes live in a bush, and sometimes in one village after another. It's interesting they call the Muslims mlecha in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Prata kale Prabhu manasa gangaya karisnan govardhana parikramaya karila prayana. In the morning, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took his bath in a lake called Manasa Ganga. He then circumambulated Govardhan Hill. We were watching the visit to Manasa Ganga, which is near the Haridev temple actually, and just seeing everything that goes on at Manasa Ganga. And we know Manasa Ganga is the lake that Krishna had manifested and also had his pastime as the boatman. I talked about he was there as the boatman. Govardhana deki Prabhu prema vistahanya nachite nachite chailila sloka padya. Just by seeing Govardhan Hill, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became ecstatic with love of Krishna. While dancing and dancing, he recited the following verse. Antanya midri rabala haridasa varyo yad Rama Krishna charana sparshrasa pramoda manam dhanoti saha goganosyos tayoryat paniya suyavasa kandara kandamulai. Of all the devotees, this Govardhan Hill is the best. Oh, my friends, this hill supplies Krishna and Balaram, as well as their calves, cows, and cowherd friends with all kinds of necessities: water for drinking, very soft grass, caves, fruits, flowers, and vegetables. In this way, the hill offers respect to the Lord. Being touched by the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram, Govardhan Hill appears very jubilant. This is a quotation, purport, this is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 21, Text 18. It was spoken by the gopis when Lord Krishna and Balaram entered the forest in the autumn. The gopis spoke among themselves and glorified Krishna and Balaram for their pastimes. So Govardhan Hill is indeed, as those who have visited know, an extremely rich place where you actually, the shelter as is being described here, water, grass, caves, fruits, flowers, vegetables, everything somebody could need to live there, everything one could need to live, basically. And it feels very complete, and it feels very rich with resources, even though externally maybe there's a little bit different of a look. But if you really dig in and around there, you can actually understand. Fortunately, we're not too far into Kali Yuga that we can understand that this is a very holy, sanctified place that so many pastimes, including those of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, took place. I don't really hear too much about Krishna going to Navadvip or Jagannath Puri, but hearing about Lord Chaitanya going to Vrindavan and to all the forests and Govardhan, that's where sort of the two things converge, and Lord Chaitanya, being the combined form of Radha and Krishna, very, very much in this pastime. Govinda Kundari Tirte Prabhu Kailas Nana Tahan Sunila Gopala Gela Gantuli Grama. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then took his bath in a lake called Govinda Kund, and while he was there, he heard that Gopal deity had already gone to Gantuli Gram. Govinda Kund ki jai. Se grame giya kaila Gopala darashana prema veshi prabhu kare kirtana nartana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then went to the village of Gantuli Gram and saw the Lord Gopal deity. Overwhelmed by ecstatic love, he began to chant and dance. Gopalera Sanduraya Deki Prabhura Vesha Shloka Parinache Haila Dina Shesha. As soon as the Lord saw the beauty of the Gopal deity, he was immediately overwhelmed by ecstatic love, and he then recited the following verse. He chanted and danced until the day ended. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives the following information about Govinda Kund. This is by Srila Prabhupada. There is a village named Anior on Govardhan Hill, a little distance from the village of Paita. Govinda Kund is situated near here, and there are 2 temples to Govinda and Baladev there. According to some, Queen Padmavati excavated this lake. In the Bhakti Ratnakara, 5th wave, the following statement is found. E Shri Govinda Kund Mahima Neka Eta Indra Kaila Govindera Bhisheka. Govinda Kund is exalted for its many spiritual activities. It was here that Indra, defeated by Lord Govinda, offered prayers to him and bathed him. In the book Stavavali, Rajavilas Stava 74, the following verse is found. Nichai pradurbhayat svayam surapati pado vidretyehaya svar ganga salilas chakara surabhidvabhishekotsavam govindasya navam gavan adibata rajesputam Katau kataryat pradurabhut sadap sporatu tad govinda kunda drisho. With humility caused by great fear, Indra took hold of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, and in the company of a Surabhi cow, performed his coronation festival by bathing him with the waters of the heavenly Ganges river. Thus, Lord Krishna's kingship over the cows became splendidly manifest. I pray that Govinda Kund, the lake created by that ceremonial bath, may eternally appear before my eyes. Also, in the Mathura Kanda, it is stated, Yatra Bhishikto Bhagavan Mahoga Bhaghona Yaduvarena Govinda Kundam Tajitam Snamatrena Mokshadam. Simply by bathing in Govinda Kund, one is awarded liberation. This lake was produced when Bhagavan Sri Krishna was bathed by Lord Indra. Jai, Govinda Kund ki jai. I'm sorry it's ending. I could keep reading for a day about this pastime. It's so wonderful, so wonderful. All glories to Chaitanya Charitamrita, all glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Sri Vrindavan Dham, all glories to Giri Govardhan ki jai, all glories to Radha Kund and Shama Kund, Govinda Kund, and the Jamuna River, Kalindi. Haribol!
Adi Purusham Kamaham Bhajam Adipurusham Tamaham Vajamin Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Vajamin Menam Kanvandam Maravindanalaya Taksham Marhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundaranam Kandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Vajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Vajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Vajami Andani Yasa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyan Dipan Dikayanti Tiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Vajami 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 Govindam Adipurusham
Okay, here we go. Adaram, Aduram, Adanam, Aduram. Adaram, Aduram, Adanam, Aduram. Everybody. Adaram, Aduram, Adanam, Aduram. Nayanam Maduram Hasita Maduram Let's read it, let's sing it together. Hridayam Maduram Gamanam Maduram Madhuradipatera Maduram Vachana Madhuram Charita Madhuram Vasana Madhuram Valita Madhuram Chalita Madhuram Brahmita Madhuram Madhuradipatera Maduram Venur Madhura, Renur Madhura, Panir Madhura, Pada Madhura, Nirthya Madhura, Sakya Madhura, Madhura Dipate, Akila Madhura. Gita Maduram Pita Maduram Bhukta Maduram Sukta Maduram Rupa Maduram Tilaka Maduram Madhura Dipate Akila Madhura Taranam Madhuram Taranam Madhuram Haranam Madhuram Ramanam Madhuram Vamitam Madhuram Samitam Madhuram Madhura Dipate Akila Madhuram Gunja Madhura Mala Madhura Yamuna Madhura Vichima Madhura Salilam Madhura Kamalam Madhura Madhura Dipate Akila Madhura Gopi Madhura Lila Madhura Yukta Madhuram Mukta Madhuram Krishna Madhura Shista Madhura Madhura Dipate Akila Madhura Gopha Madhura Gavo Madhura Yashtir Madhura Shristir Madhura Dalita Madhura Palita Madhura Madhura Dipate Akila Madhura Adaram Madhuram Vadaram Madhuram Nayanam Madhuram Hasita Madhuram Hridayam Madhuram Gamanam Madhuram Madhura Madhuram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Goloka Nanda Radha Goloka Nanda Radha Goloka Nanda Si Radhe Kananda Radha Goloka Nanda Si Radhe Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Nitya Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gora Hari Bol. Jaya Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Jaya Radhe Shyam. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Wo. His lips, everybody, his lips are sweet, his face is sweet, his eyes are sweet, his smile is sweet, his heart is sweet, his gait is sweet. Everything is sweet about the Emperor of sweetness. His words are sweet, his character is sweet, his dress is sweet, his belly folds are sweet, his movements are sweet, his wonder